In 2016, I was a broke single dad, new business owner, and I had very little business experience. But today, that same business has generated over $4 million. Here's how I did it and how you can too. Yep, that's me in a storefront property, knee deep in the hood. This is where I actually opened up my first office for my business. As you can see, I came from very humble beginnings. Today, though, that same business has actually generated millions of dollars and has helped change my life. It's helped change the lives of other people too as well. My name is Carl Stevens, and in 2016, I was a single dad with a 4-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. I was living in a state where I had zero family staying there with me, and I had zero support system to help me. And unfortunately, found myself in a position where I had just gotten laid off of the job that I had for the past few years. And anytime you're in a tough situation like that, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I definitely wasn't sure how I was going to make this all work. But what I didn't realize then is that this actually was going to be a defining moment that would actually change my life forever. At the time, I was actually working as a call center manager for a large company, and initially things were going well. That was until I was actually informed by the company I was working with that they were faced with the tough decision of having to either close its main headquarters or closing their satellite office that I was the manager of. And I'm pretty sure you can guess how that worked out for me. So, in spite of my office being the top performing, top revenue generating location, they elected to close our office and they ended up laying off myself and the 200 employees that worked for me at the time. And so I found myself suddenly with no job, bills piling up, and 2 kids to feed. So if you want to ask what motivated me to start my business, first and foremost, guess what? I had 2 kids to feed. I had to make it happen for them. I had to make it happen for myself. But ultimately, I also knew that I was really good at my job. I was really good at the type of work that I did. And I knew that I had the skills and the knowledge that I had been using for years to make other businesses money. So why couldn't I do the same thing for my own business? I ended up finding the right opportunity to start my own business when I found a situation that actually aligned with my gifts and my purpose. Shortly after I lost my job, I was actually approached by an out of state company that was very familiar with the work I had done for my previous employer. They offered me an opportunity to work for them as an employee, and they actually asked me to help them with starting a work from home call center in the state I was living in. Now, I told them yes, but I told them yes under the condition that I would work for them strictly on a contractual basis, not as an employee. Keep in mind, this was a kind of a very big risk. It's not like I had any other job prospects going on, but the company luckily was very motivated to utilize my services. They also wanted to fill the void that my previous employer left. And bottom line, they ended up telling me yes. And that's actually how I ended up getting my first contract. And it's essentially how my business was born. I started off with just 2 employees. And within a few short years, I was actually able to build my business to well over 100 employees. Having gone through this whole situation, I realized that ultimately our gifts are the thing that provides us value and leverage to make a place for you in the world. If I didn't have the gifts that I possessed, I would have never been able to get a company to be able to agree to give me a contract, despite being a new business owner. But because they knew I was really good at my job, they were willing to take a chance. And what this comes down to is there's an old scripture that says, your gifts will make room for you and bring you before great men. And this is 100% true. The best way to attain wealth and opportunity is through leveraging your unique gifts and skills to solve problems for other people. Fast forward a few years, I was rapidly able to expand my business to the point of where we were not only able to generate millions of dollars, but I was able to get multiple properties. I started getting awards, recognition, even got an award for my state's House of Representatives. And who would have thought that a guy from such humble beginnings could have accomplished these type of goals? Looking back at my journey, I realized that my success came down to 4 principles. First principle is knowing the difference between your purpose and your passions. You need to discover what problem it is that you were born to solve. Solving other people's problems actually creates value for you. And when you create value, this is what attracts opportunities. We're all born with different types of gifts and skills, but picking which of your gifts and skills to build a business off of should always be determined by the level of service that's actually attached to your gift. That's why knowing the difference between your purpose and your passion is so important. People will often make the mistake of trying to start a business that's based off of their passions. And just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean that there's a successful business built into that passion. How do you know the difference between your purpose and your passions? Well, our passions are the things that provide us with joy and entertainment. But your gifts and your purpose will actually bring service and value to other people. For example, keep in mind, even though I started a call center, my specific ability to have success wasn't the call center itself. It was actually based in my ability to be able to teach others and motivate them to do their job at a high level. Teaching and motivating are my purpose-related gifts. And these are the gifts that have been the foundation, in fact, for all of my businesses. Once you can actually identify which of your skills are tied to the service of other people, then you will simultaneously discover what should be the foundation of the business you should start. So let's go to key number 2, which is refining your gifts and your skills. Once you discover what your purpose is and which your gifts that's actually tied to your purpose, then you will actually need to start the important work of working diligently to refine these skills through discipline and consistency. If you're consistent and disciplined at refining your gifts, this will actually prepare you for your future opportunities. If I had to break this down into a simpler formula, think of it like this. Once you find your purpose and your gifts, then you need to use discipline and consistency to refine these gifts. Because refining these gifts is actually what is going to increase your value. Once you increase your value and you gain experience, this is what's going to prepare you for the opportunities that your purpose is going to attract. And I'm a firm believer that preparation plus opportunity will always bring you success. I spent years teaching and training and motivating people for other companies. And little did I know at the time that, I was unknowingly refining these same skills that I would need for my future opportunities as a business owner later on down the line. And this is a big reason why, let's say, for example, if you were to give me the opportunity 10 years ago to say, hop in a time machine and bring me fast forward to the future, 2025. And if you were to hand my past self all the responsibilities and opportunities that I'm in charge of today, I believe that my past self would fail miserably. And the reason why is that my past self doesn't have the same experience from the journey of my past 10 years that has allowed me to refine my skills to where they're at today. This is why your journey along the way to accomplishing your goals is just as important as the goal itself. Because it's actually during your journey that's preparing you for the destination of becoming a business owner. And it's preparing you for the opportunities that lie ahead. So let's go to key number 3, which is start before you're ready. Bottom line, don't wait. There'll never be a perfect time to start. Start right now. I had obstacles when I first started my business. I didn't necessarily have a lot of money to invest. I definitely didn't have a lot of resources. I know my credit was in terrible shape. But you know what? In spite of these obstacles, I didn't let that keep me from starting out on my business dreams. This is why it's so important to take the steps to start and to do it right away and you got to do it even before you think that you have everything that you need to succeed. More times than not, these perfect conditions that we have in our mind that we're expecting to be in place so we can get started, we wait for that, it'll never come. Let me share some important stats for you to remember. The Harvard Business Review did a study years ago, and they actually showed that first movers who start their goals early, despite uncertainty, they capture 70% of the market share, while late movers often struggle to gain ground. Another study I read about from Inc. magazine, it talked about how 78% of successful entrepreneurs launched their business when conditions were not ideal. So that means 8 out of 10 business owners essentially started their business when things weren't perfect. So what does that tell us? Statistically, waiting for the perfect time to start your business will lead to missed opportunities and, most importantly, regret. Starting now not only gives you a statistically better chance of success, but starting now actually allows you to start the process of gaining more experience, which in turn will only make you better as an entrepreneur. Start taking a bunch of small steps, and they will eventually turn into one big step. And let's go to key number 4, which is investing in yourself. When you start to make money, once your business is up and running, you have to make it a point to reinvest whatever profits that you make back into your business early. Instead of splurging, instead of getting that nice new whip or getting that fresh new jewelry that you like so you can show off to your family and friends, save it. Reinvest into your business. It truly does take money to make money. And as a new entrepreneur, once you start to see a profit, you have to reinvest it into your business in order to have resources to be able to allow your business to grow. You know, no one else is going to believe in your business more than you. If you don't invest in yourself, how do you actually expect other people to be willing to invest into you? When I look back, I see that with these 4 principles that we just went over, this is what took me from being a broke single dad to owning a multi-million-dollar business. And here's the truth. There is zero difference between me and you. I'm a regular guy. I grew up very humble beginnings. But if you apply this blueprint, regardless of your age, your background, your finances, you can build the life that you've always wanted for yourself. And your story might not start how mine did, but if you apply these 4 principles, you can write your own success story. It's been an honor and a privilege to talk with you guys today. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching sessions with me to help with finding your purpose or maybe how to start or even improve your business or career, I provided a link in the comments section for my coaching sessions. Make sure you hit the like button for me and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next video. Talk to you soon.